Hey, I'm Dave Knight with the Dave Knight Real Estate Team, and we love being a real estate resource for people. Today's question is, how do I resolve a boundary dispute with my neighbor to sell the property? So I don't know what it is, but recently we have been having neighbors with boundary disputes, and I don't know if it's because of COVID and people are just emotionally charged or what, but this has come up multiple times recently. So let me talk through that. Three quick stories. One, several years back, before I didn't know how to resolve these types of issues, we had a neighbor even put up a sign stating that there was a boundary dispute, and it was a big ordeal. Recently, we've been able to really resolve these well. And in one case, when we got called in, actually almost ended in a fight where the representative of the seller and the neighbor were actually started shoving, is what I heard. And so here are the tips in how do you resolve this boundary dispute. And so the first thing that I always do when I come into a situation like that is I look to explore their story. So just the other day, I met with a neighbor of the property, and he stated that he has a dispute with the boundary line. And what we did was I spent time listening to him, exploring his story, and I realized that it didn't make much sense why he was that upset about something that small. And then that's where I asked him the question of, how long has this been going on for? So when you ask multiple probing questions, and then I found out that this has been going on for decades, this is a long issue, I realized he's got a lot of time invested in being upset about this. And so that's why that is so important to him. He also uses key words. So one of the key words he used was fair and unfair. So he felt like what had happened to him had been unfair, and he just wanted what was fair. And so when you explore people's story and you listen, that really helps them to open up and share with you and give you all the information about the situation. The second thing is seeking to understand. So you take that story and you try to understand how they're feeling that way and put yourself in their shoes of, I can understand why you're feeling that way because this has been going on for this long, and that happened, and I can understand why you would feel hurt or mad or upset or feel like that was something that was unfair. So then what you do with that is third step is you validate. So those feelings that you can validate, you look to validate those in that person's story. And so this model actually comes from a psychologist, Matt Townsend, who actually is one of the coaches for Keller Williams or has taught some of the classes that we have. That model works really well, and then you can use that to really diffuse people's emotions, and you can almost feel it get flat emotionally, where people start to smile a little bit more. You can just sense it in their voice, and that's where you can create a path forward. And so at that point, we always look for win-win scenarios. How do both parties win? Why does somebody always have to lose for somebody else to win? That usually doesn't work. So we're looking for win-win scenarios. From a sale perspective, I'm not an attorney. Let me be very clear. I'm offering you realtor advice in the sale of a house. You always need to get legal advice when there's disputes like this. As far as from our perspective, selling the house, then what we need to do is we need to disclose. We need to disclose as we move forward that there was a boundary dispute, and we need to document certain things, disclose that to the buyer. The buyers are encouraged to, and when we recommend, or when we have a buyer in an escrow like this, we recommend that the buyer discover. And what does that look like? That means the buyer going to the neighbor, asking them about the dispute, figuring out, well, what do you want in the future? Do you want us to build a new fence? Could we do that together? What kind of fence do you want? And then they can figure out a good way so that we can have a neighbor here and a neighbor here, and they get along and they love being neighbors. So hopefully this helps in regards to not just how do you just solve a dispute with a neighbor in regards to a fence, but it could be something else. And I want you to know that I'm not an attorney, and sometimes I can help solve problems before they go to an attorney. So feel free to always call me over if you have a dispute, if you just need a mediator to come in kind of as a friend to help figure out what the issues are. I'm always happy to do that. I love helping people. So make it a great day. We'll see you on the next video.